major changes coming to the front office and the coaching.
And look,
So
the Foles
it's a sign
signing
right there.
was already highly debated at the beginning of the season because they were basically the only team in the running for him. Still ended up paying such an extravagant amount when there was no other team in the bidding wars. And now, with Minshew starting off so hot to the season, you bring in Foles, and it kind of seems like this offense is stuck in first gear. Are you predicting any sort of quarterback change before the end of the season, especially if this game goes south, or is Foles secure?
They play him. They paid that much for him. They're going to see what he has for the rest of the season.
What's the line on this game?
Buccaneers currently favored by 2.5.
Bucks whooped on Atlanta last week.
Over under 46.5, so that's one of the higher ones we've seen today.
Chris Godwin, man, whenever he gets an opening for like a bad corner on him, Jameis just bombs it to him.
Yeah, Godwin's certainly going to be somebody who you'll see his draft position rise immensely.
Would like Mike Evans to wake up today.
Now, obviously, you can't play O.J. Howard because he's been the invisible man the past couple of weeks, as he usually is.
Behind the back fumble. That's why he's not allowed to get the ball.
But I will say this. Jacksonville is surprisingly weak. Well, I mean, we saw that last week versus Derrick Henry, right? Is Ronald Jones someone you'd be willing to put in as a running back 2 today?
You can definitely flex him. Don't depend on him because he has a fumbling issue that sneaks up on you, and also you never know when Peyton Barber is going to get hot and take his touches away, and he's a volume guy, a lot like Fournette. If Fournette doesn't touch the ball 20-plus times, he's of no value. The fact is that he is such a value because he gets his yardage because he's going to touch the ball 30-plus times every game. So, yeah, Ronald Jones, I think he's a great flex because of that matchup, but to start him and take somebody else out that you would probably be more dependable week in and week out, I think that's taking too big of a risk at this point in the season, fantasy-wise.
What about the other guy's name I can't pronounce?
Oh, Gumbawale?
There you go.
Let me bring up a real quick question, though. Would you rather start Ronald Jones at Jacksonville or Tevin Coleman today at Baltimore?
Oh, I'd take Jones.
Okay.
Coleman, I think, here's the problem, and we even saw in the Green Bay game. But they'll bring in whoever else. They'll bring in their third and fourth running back on drives just to give the offense and the defense something new to think about because it's a different style guy. Like, you just don't know. San Francisco is just so unwilling to stick with just one guy week in and week out, even like during the game. Like they just feel like if the guy is not getting the requisite yardage they expected off a play, well, let's take him out and put in another guy and see if he'll do it. It's a lot like Kyle operates the run game so much like his dad did. Really he does. Like he just look, if I give you 2 carries and you haven't gotten a first down or you're not getting over 4 yards a carry, you're done. Like I might come back to you, but I'm going to put in the next guy and see if he can spark the run game. Like he is a lot like his dad when it comes to just not really hating on running backs, but just really being kind of indifferent about who the hell's doing it, just as long as it's done the way he's asking.
And real quick, I mean, what I'll say I appreciate the most about Shanahan, and you could say this for McVay as well because he kind of comes from the same tree. Those 2 coaches are spectacular at running maybe 4 or 5 formations the entire game, but they have so many plays they can run out of each formation. So it's confusing to the defense. You think it's going to be, here's another off tackle. Nope, it's a bootleg left. Oh, here's another sweep to the left. Nope, it's a bootleg right. So I do like that about the Rams and the Niners, that they show you the same formation all game long, but they keep you on your toes with different plays.
Yeah.
I don't know.
I got the Jags in this one 27-20, and I think it's a Fournette. I think they just feed him, and I think it's really a lot of it falls on his shoulders, even though the matchup seems unfavorable because of the Buccaneers' run defense. I think Fournette at 200 and almost 40 pounds, just being able to pound it is a different type of animal for a defense to and here's the thing. I think they're going to have early success, but they have shown, like, they know. Like, we're not going to stop giving it to him because he's not going to start being successful until post 15 carries. And so they will continue to get him the ball, and that big body is a lot like Derrick Henry. How many times are you willing to stick your head in there if they're going to keep giving him the rock? That's going to wear out the defense a hell of a lot more than these small, quick backs that they have been successful for. So I think the Jaguars edged this one out by just a touchdown, and it's because they are willing to stick with that big hammer in Leonard Fournette.
I would take Coleman over Ronald Jones. Baltimore's run defense has been very leaky at times this season, and if you go back and look, Nick Chubb destroyed this defense. And Coleman, once he gets to the outside, man, he gets those long strides going, I think he can do it.
I'm sorry, but I'm putting Nick Chubb in a whole different class, dude. He has proven that. Like, he's proven on weeks where everybody's trying to stop him. And no, I'm just saying, like, Chubb is getting the touches. Coleman, what game can you really consistently say that he has been given the opportunities on a consistent? That's my point. It's not that he's not a good back. It's just that if he goes in there and gets stuffed on 2 plays, Mosted's coming in or Breida or like, that's my point. It's not his talent. It's just Chubb, even with Hunt being productive, they give him the touches. Fournette, Henry, they get the touches. You know what I mean? Like, you cannot count on Coleman and guarantee in this matchup that, because what happens if he doesn't even start the game and the other running back comes out and does exactly what you're saying, because he's not going to get in there. Because then Shanahan has also proven he's not stupid. He's not just going to change running backs to change him. He might give him a spell for a down or two, but then he's going to go right back to that guy that's showing on the field in that game that's going to get it done. And so then that's like Coleman's just – there's too many variables for him to be for me to be confident in playing him. Because look, this is the last game. A lot of people need to win these matchups for their playoff matchups to get into the playoffs. And that's where I'm looking at risk reward here when we're talking about this stuff, I guess. That's my angle I'm looking at from Dave.
And I'll stick to Coleman on that.
Yeah, his best game by far was that 51-point trouncing against the Carolina Panthers. A weird weather game. He had 3 touchdowns before the half. Otherwise, Coleman's
against a leaky run defense.
Coleman's been kind of iffy. So back to this game, Tampa Bay Buccaneers certainly are a rough opponent versus running backs. They are 31st as far as giving up points. They only give about 11.6 points per game to running backs. So Fournette might not enjoy the game you're used to. However, they are only that good against the running back because they happen to be the worst team in the league against wide receivers. You can pass all over the Tampa Bay Buccaneers, which makes DJ Chark a great play today.
He's ready.
That makes DJ Chark a great play, but it also makes D.D. Westbrook someone that you need to pay attention to. He's flex-worthy today, in my opinion. And then Chris Conley is too much of a risk.
You say DJ Chark?
DJ Chark, DJ Chark.
Hey, how you doing?
So, on Tampa Bay side of the ball, Jameis is going to have a fumble and a pick today. But the question is, how many touchdowns is he going to throw to overdo it?
Evans.
For
the love of God.
Well, I do like the Jags in this game. I just think Jameis is going to give him too many turnovers. But you can play Jameis today. He'll be fine. He always seems to overcome his bad with the good. Play Godwin for sure. He's been a stud all season long. And then Evans, maybe not your wide receiver 1, but a perfectly fine wide receiver 2 today. But I am going with the Jacksonville Jaguars in that battle for Florida.
This sucks that Dave and I are matched up in this like, I think the loser of this one gets kicked out of the playoffs. And I'm going to say this right now. Whoever loses, or if we don't both get in the playoffs, the person that doesn't get in is a travesty, because no, it is, because if you look at, honestly, Dillon, and if you look at what we did from where we started with our rosters to where they are now, and even like I was looking at like the matchups going forward for either one of our rosters versus even like your boy Shady there, like our team is stacked given the matchups they've got during the playoff run. I mean, it's going to be really hard. We're going to be tough outs. Like, I just want to say that, and a lot of that, and again, I don't know about Dave. I'm not going to speak for him, but I will say, like, my roster, I got to give you a lot of credit. Like, I made choices, but I just kind of threw a lot of shit at the wall and saw what stuck. It was all based off advice you gave me. And so, I mean, you guys don't think Dillon, you want to doubt him. I should show you my roster right after the draft and show you my roster now, and you just make your own damn judgment. I mean, come on, like. No, and I'm not a fantasy guru. This is my first year I've took it serious. For real, like.
You guys have been great on the waiver wire. You took full advantage of Julie Voigt, so I'll give you both credit for that. And I will say, going into next year, a couple improvements I will make for the league. I'm going to be adding 2 more teams to the playoffs, so I don't know how 6 teams weren't going to make it in this year, but next year we will have 6 teams in the playoffs, and we will definitely have an IR spot because that's been a pain in the ass all year long.
Can I make one more recommendation?
Absolutely.
Can we make it a dynasty league next year?
That depends on everybody else, but yeah, we'll bring it up.
I wouldn't mind doing that, or I wouldn't even mind
dynasty
if we have
a
section of guys that want to do 2, and we could do a dynasty and a regular, because I've never done it, and that does intrigue me because that brings in more of the.
You get to be more of a
mind.
football GM.
Yeah.
Oh yeah.
So I am intrigued by it. But anyway, we're getting off track. I just wanted to say that about our rosters and give you some credit. I don't know if Dave wants to add anything in there, but I just, I try to pump you up as much as possible because I have not been a fantasy nerd. Meeting you, Dillon, talking to you, taking your advice, it's made it fun and made me really get into it. And so I just want to thank you and tell everybody out there, go follow Dillon, freaking get his fantasy shit. Pay attention to what he does at Dillon Busby 1, man. Go ahead, Dave. Sorry, I jumped on you again.
It's okay. I'm used to the little guys jumping on me. Oh God. All right. So no, my roster, I built the core of it through the draft this year, but it was always missing a couple pieces. And what Dillon said is, hey, go trade for this guy, trade for that guy. So I mean, to go grab Alvin Kamara and Travis Kelce, I mean, that was huge for me. But the thing is, I don't even know if I'm going to make it to the playoffs because Jay and I's matchup today, a lot of our matchups come because it's opposite players facing each other, like Evans and Fournette right there. I mean, that's a biggie. And
I'm pretty sure this game decides which of you gets in the playoffs.
Yeah.
Yeah, I'm pretty sure.
Luck to the better man that wins. And I have no problem if Jay gets in. He's done his fantasy this year, and I mean, Alvin Kamara underperformed me for 10.4 points.
Yeah, he did. He
just sucks you're going to miss out on the $10,000 grand prize.
Yeah, okay.
$10,000 Monopoly money, suckers.
All right, guys. Let's get into another game I like to call a nap game, one that everyone's going to be sleeping through. You may be watching it on the Red Zone channel, but that's it. When the New York Jets, Jets.
DJ Chark's about to go off. He's wearing a Mighty Ducks jersey going into the locker room.
Firemen Ed and the boys.
Today.
The Jets and Sam Darnold are going to travel to Cincinnati. The Return of the Red Rifle. This should be a movie. This should be on Disney Plus right now. The Return of the Red Rifle. I cannot wait for my boy Dalton to be back on the field. The former Horned Frog himself. Number 14, Andy Dalton, coming back, bringing relevance to the names of Tyler Boyd and Joe Mixon and Tyler Eifert and maybe
Tyler
John
Eifert.
Ross.
I just heard his name and his knee break again.
No, that's not very nice.
I'm sorry, he's made of peanut brittle.
Listen, on the Bengals side of the ball,
peanut brittle happens to be a tasty Christmas treat. You should not disparage people using the word peanut brittle.
Man.
Hey,
Limburger cheese too?
My Limburger cheese is actually very good, although it stinks.
It's supposed to be a joke, Jay. You're not supposed to say yes to that.
By the way, my great-grandmother made homemade peanut brittle. It was to die for. So stop with the disparaging of peanut brittle, okay? It's a very good treat. You just don't appreciate good Christmas delicious treats when you see one and it smacks you in the face. Go on, Dillon.
No, I know.
So last week, guys, we saw Tyler Boyd finally come back and give you a performance to be proud of. unfortunately, he was most likely on your bench after having some disappointing weeks, after facing Pittsburgh in a daunting